Hey guys, welcome to my first talking tutorial. I've been lucky to get really great feedback from some really great friends, and they told me to make it a little bit more personable too and kind of do like a talking tutorial. So I'm not going to overwhelm myself when it comes to stepping in front of the camera, and I'm not going to overwhelm whoever is watching, especially if you know me personally. I'm not like a very serious person. So I'm just gonna film my everyday glam like foundation face routine. So first off, I always start with a primer. Lately I've been liking a couple. So I always start off with the Lorac Porefetion Mattifying Face Primer. To be honest, I don't see amazing oil control, but it does smooth. So it is really smoothing, so it's really good. I have a lot of texture closer in like my tear ducts and my nose. So I always just kind of put it in my T-zone. And then I hate concealer, but when I do wear concealer, I always put the Smashbox Photo Finish Hydrating Under Eye Primer. But this primer is really, really amazing when you do have really dry under eyes, especially if you hate concealer for the reason of it always creasing. It's super, super, super hydrating, but if you have oily skin, like, you're not gonna hate it. You're actually gonna love it, I would say. And then for the summer, I always added the Becca Backlight Priming Filter. That one added like a lot of dewiness, luminosity, but without looking greasy or over the top, or like you just highlighted like your entire face. So I'm in Texas, so it's still pretty warm out, so it's not fully fall. So I'm gonna add just a little bit in there. I normally just add it to my cheeks and like my forehead. I naturally get oils around my nose anyway, so I kind of avoid adding additional luminosity if I have to. Okay, so after you have your 5 layers of primer on, I'm gonna go in with my favorite foundation at the moment. I'm really not one that like experiments with foundations, but I really, really love this one. It's the Smashbox Studio Skin. I'm in the color 3.4. So it's super, super hydrating again, but it's the same deal. Like, it's not greasy, it's not high, like it's not like overly dewy, but it is really, really nice. I'm just gonna I normally do 2 pumps and that's it. So I just go in with 1 and then apply that. It is super, super buildable, but it's not like, it doesn't cake up at all. I've noticed that it just looks really, really healthy on the skin. This color is a little bit warm for me. I got very dark over the summer, and since I don't use foundation every day, like, I still have a lot of product left, so I'm still using it. But I mean, it's not overly warm. Once it's all over my face, you can kind of see where it just blends in. And my face is a little bit lighter than my body anyway. But this actually has a 15-hour wear, and I would say that that is absolutely true. This was my summer foundation, so I did wear it outside a lot. I live in Texas, so I sweat a lot. I have to. And there were times that I noticed, obviously I'm not matte whenever I use this, and I'm sweating, but it holds up. Like, my foundation looks really great. So I've gotten a lot of compliments that whatever I'm wearing looks like I'm almost wearing nothing. And I've suggested this to a lot of people. So like I said, I really don't like concealer, but I'm gonna go in with it just a little bit because lately I haven't been getting the rest I need. So I've been getting like a little bit of dark circles, and it'll kind of tone down the color of that foundation as well. So I'm just gonna go with the It Cosmetics Bybel Under Eye. This is in the color Tan. It is a little bit pink for me, so it's not my favorite. So I just pick a little bit up because a little goes a long way with this concealer. So I just kind of dab it under my eyes. And then I'll go in again with that sponge and really blend it out. And then just whatever's on my brush, I'll move for like the highlighting purposes of it. But yeah, this concealer is thicker than most. So like I said, a little goes a long way with it, but it definitely covers. And I really don't need it. Like, I'm only 20 years old. I really don't have like eye bags or severely dark circles, but for the highlighting purposes of it, I really do like it. I just have yet to find the perfect lightweight concealer that dries down. Everything else has been very like hydrating, and I'm not like super into that. So I blend it out, and I'm just gonna go in with the side again that I used my foundation on, just to kind of like match the colors a little bit. There's no more foundation or like any concealer left on the sponge. I'm just kind of blending the two colors together. And then I will go in, not always, but especially when I don't use concealer, I will bake with a translucent powder. And it has been very difficult for me to find a translucent powder that works for me, that doesn't give this white cast or like a white flashback in all photos, or even just like in real life. It could just be because of my skin tone, or it could just be the fact that I'm not using the right translucent powders. But I did get this Dermablend loose setting powder, and it is really, really, really great. It is not super drying. I think the Smashbox under eye primer helps a lot too. So in case you have like really dry under eyes and you want to bake as well, that primer is like really, really key. So yeah, I really love this powder. It's not like thick. It doesn't have like any luminosity to it. It just mattifies. It sets everything. I really do think it brightens. So a tip that I learned from Jaclyn Hill here on YouTube is to go in with a different beauty sponge and dip it right into the powder, which sounds weird because you don't want to dip a wet sponge into a dry powder, but that's what makes it so hydrating, and that's what like prevents the crepiness, the cakiness, the snake skin look of it. So I'm just gonna dip it directly in there and then apply it to my under eyes. I don't put a crazy amount because I don't put a crazy amount of concealer on, and there's really no like pattern you need to put it on, just really like where you want to highlight. I also put a little bit on the outer corners of my nose because that is where I tend to rub a lot. So a lot of oils build up there, and my foundation will start to rub off just because I'm sitting there always constantly wiping my nose. So while that's baking, I normally go in and do my brows. Lately, all I've been using is brow powder. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills brow powder in dark brown. This is super, super easy. Nothing really too crazy about it. My brows don't need a lot of help. They just kind of need to be a little bit darker. So I'll go in with the lighter powder just on the front half. And I don't create like a crazy structure when it comes to my brows. I just fill in what I have already. So I go in with the lighter color in the front of the brows. And then the darker powder I'll take on the outer half. I'll just blend it out with a spoolie, not too much, because if I blend it out too much, then it won't look as clean. So I don't leave that powder on for very long. I think just because of my skin tone, I don't want it to be overly bright. So I just grab a big powder brush. This is the Morphe E1 and just brush that right away. Since it is a hydrating foundation, I don't set the rest of my face because I want to keep that luminosity, and I want that Becca priming filter to really come through as well. I just kind of set where I get a little bit of oil and where I'm trying to prevent any creasing. So that is basically it for like just the foundation part. In order to kind of decorate my face with like blush, bronzer, highlight, I usually change my products every day. Of course, depending on what I'm wearing, but there are like my holy grail products. So to be honest, I'm not the biggest bronzer. I'm already kind of bronzed. I'm kind of golden, I think the color I use in my foundation. Also, the fact that I highlight the center part of my face so it still looks like I have this like bronzy outer half of my face. I don't really go in with bronzer. I've also have yet to find the perfect bronzer that's warm enough without looking orange on my skin tone. So I'm still looking for one. I still want to find one because I do love bronzer, but I have yet to find one. What I do always go in with is this Becca Jaclyn Hill face palette. This has been like my holy grail since I did get it. I was one of the lucky few that was able to snag it on Sephora before they sold out. Jaclyn Hill has been one of the main reasons I got into makeup, so I really, really, really love her. I love her products, and I trust her products, and I trust her opinion. And the biggest thing that I use every day, even if I don't highlight, is this blush. It's called Amaretto. It is the perfect tone for my skin. It doesn't look overly red, it doesn't look overly pink. It's got a little bit of luminosity to it, but it doesn't have like these crazy reflex. So I will always go in with that blush. And I'm just taking this on a Morphe E4 brush, which is a super fluffy angled brush. So as you can see, it just kind of gives me a very light wash of color, but on days that I just kind of want to get out the house and be a little bit more natural, I'll just stick to Amaretto. And the next thing that I always go with is the contour powder when I do contour. I normally always contour, especially since I don't bronze, but this is from MAC Cosmetics. I did get it a little while ago, and I actually got it on the clearance section, so it is, I'm pretty sure it's discontinued, but this is the All the Right Angles Contour Palette. It has a cream color base, a sculpting powder, and a shaping powder. So when you open it, it has a contour powder, it has a little blush, and then it has this cream blush, which is really, really nice. But I always use this contour powder because it is cool enough in order to use. I think it is in the shade Definitive. So in case they sell it separately, and you're like my skin tone and you want a really good contour powder, Definitive by MAC is really great. I don't crazy contour all the time. I normally just take like a really worn out fan brush. This is the Morphe M601. I've just washed it a bunch of times, so it's kind of fluffy now. But I will go in very lightly with that contour powder. I will place it on my cheekbones in order just to kind of sculpt out a little bit. Like I said, I don't crazy contour. I just kind of shade. I don't bake or sculpt any contour. I just add a little bit of shape. And then not only do I go in like the back and forth motions, but I will go in a small circle in order to kind of blend it upwards and to smooth out that line a little bit so it's not as harsh. Sometimes I'll take it on the bottom parts of my jawline, and since I don't bronze, I'll take it on the corners of my forehead just to kind of balance it out, but it's not, I don't take a big amount. And then really the last step I do is highlight. Lately, every day I've been using, especially since I've been a little bit darker lately, I've been using this BH Cosmetics Carli Bybel palette, and it's only like 15 bucks, but honestly, the main reason I bought it is for the highlighter shades, is for this gold shade. It is honestly like the most true gold I have ever seen. So I will just grab like the really bright gold shade, and sometimes I'll dabble it into the second one. Just those two center highlights, I'll dab that in there. And this is a Morphe 310. This is honestly like the best highlighting brush I've ever used. And I'll just take that on the highest points of my cheekbones. That gold shade is dark enough to where it looks like a natural highlight on the skin, but it's gold enough to where it gives like this beautiful luminosity to the skin. I don't dip it anymore after I'm done with the tops of my cheekbones, but I'll run it across the tip of my nose, and I'll run it across the tops of my brow bone just to kind of even out the highlight. And that is basically it for my entire face routine. I'm gonna go do the rest of my makeup, and I'll show you the finished look. Okay, so I did my eye makeup and I put a lip color on. That's all that really changed. I put some mascara on. I did film this tutorial. It's just my super easy smoky eye. It's my glam eye. I did use the Makeup Geek Manny MUA palette. For no specific reasons, I just really like the browns in it. For the reference, I am wearing ColourPop Brink on my lips. It's a super nude shade. It's nude for me, but it's a beautiful tone. So I will leave that up later. This video is gonna go up first. So I will post on my Instagram, so follow my Instagram. I'll also post on Twitter, and I'll post it on my personal Facebook. So for personal friends, I'll post that on there, and I'll keep you guys updated. Hopefully it will be up soon. So thanks again for watching. This is different for me to do. Thank you to those really great friends that left amazing feedback and told me what I can do to improve myself and improve the quality of work that I put in the world. So thank you to those friends. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope to see you soon. Bye.